Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Eagle Eye Podcast. It is episode 72. And boy, do we have plenty and plenty to talk about. We hoped that we'd be talking about a final, but unfortunately, America has disappointed and let us down. We have been knocked out in the semifinals, and because of that, well, now we're in this predicament. Unfortunately, we can't go any further, but we will be here talking about America season. We'll be reviewing everything from the 2018-2019 season that America has left us. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and some of the things that we want to see change for the upcoming season. And well, before I get any further, as always, let me introduce my co-host, as always, Mr. Christian Rosendo, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Mr. Dylan Jimenez.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
Oh, look at that. Right on cue. The both of you at the same time.
It's because we practiced it before, you know.
Alrighty. Well, I see that we got some people already on the chat. Carlos Serna, what is up, my good friend? Unfortunately, America doesn't make it to the final, even though you guys rewind like 2 episodes back. I did say I would host a viewing party at my house if America made it to the final. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. And I think I'm breathing a little bit a little bit more easy now because I was wondering how I was gonna fit everyone in the house.
You would have just rented out something.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm pretty sure your driveway is big enough.
True.
My driveway's not big enough.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, I've seen pictures too.
You guys are just making things up now as we go along. But
I don't know about that.
gentlemen, plenty to talk about. We're gonna recap the last game briefly, and then we're gonna go into a whole discussion about what the season has left us. A lot of people have this kind of they've been divided whether or not Piojo should stay, whether Piojo should go. We'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about rumors and everything that's been going on in regards to America, about the team, about the club, just everything in general. So we'll definitely be talking about that, and then we're also going to recap the podcast as a whole. We started this season in a certain way, and I think we finished pretty strong, and I think that owes all to you guys, the listeners. So we're definitely going to be recapping the growth of the podcast as well, because I think there's a lot of stuff that we need to address. And then, of course, today's the last day for trivia, if I'm not mistaken, Christian.
Yes, sir. Today's the last day of trivia. The winner won't be announced tonight because I still have to do all the scoreboard and make sure I have everybody's points correct. So on our next podcast, which should be L3 podcast, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
All right. So whenever
we'll talk about that
because,
because the boys and I are going on a short break of a vacation, and then we'll come back and start previewing the Gold Cup and everything. So, but we'll get to that towards the end of the podcast. Actually, we'll discuss it during trivia. I think that should be the perfect time to discuss that.
Sure.
So people know exactly when to tune in and everything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's not keep you guys any further. Let's talk about what happened on Sunday, because if those of you who have their notification bell, for the people who follow us on YouTube, will have known that we jumped on here right after the game, talked about the America loss at home, quote unquote, at home, because we were in Querétaro Stadium. But America lost that game 1-0. We kind of gave our thoughts kind of fresh into the results just coming through. And I think we said everything that needed to be said. We were very disappointed at the time. We wanted to see better, even though we saw a much better America side than what they played against, Cruz Azul. But again, it was the fact that they didn't take their chances, which inevitably came back to bite them, and definitely was a cruel way for America to go out, because I think they were the better team in both legs. So briefly, just kind of give me a recap of the first leg without going too much detail into it, because I think the second leg has a lot more for us to offer in regards to analysis. But just kind of a quick recap of that first leg. Christian?
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. We were the clear quote unquote, I guess, dominator in the match. We were the ones to set out our game plan, but unfortunately we just couldn't put it in the back of the net, and I guess that was the problem for us. It's been our Achilles heel that game, and it's been our Achilles heel the whole season, and it really showed, and it cost us in that first leg. It would have been great to leave at least leave with one goal there, 1-1 tie would have been, I would have been fine with that, to be honest.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. It wasn't a good game that left us with a good result. Dylan, what was your take on it?
After the first leg, kind of the same thing. We had our moments. Just didn't take them like you said, and it really bit us in the butt. But looking back on it and really realizing it, I still had some hope. It's just there was a lot of work to do going into the second leg.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of work, and I think we all agreed on that, and then we all said that on Thursday night that America now had the more difficult task of going up against not only the clock but against the Leon team at away, the away fans, everything really was stacked against them, and we knew it was going to be a tough ask, and it was definitely one of the toughest tasks that they were ever going to be asked to do in regards to the season. And I think America just came short of accomplishing that goal. And we're going to get right into it. But I mean, I definitely want to talk. Dylan, what's so
Yeah,
funny over there?
what's so funny over here?
Are you laughing at the fact that America didn't make it into the semifinal?
No,
He's a
because
closet Leon fan. Do you not remember, Ivan?
no, because you said they kind of fell short of the task needed, and I was like, well, it's obvious they fell short. I don't know, like just the way you put it, I was like, that's what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess it was on the nose for Dylan in that sense, but yeah, let's talk about what America did right in the first couple of minutes because I think they did something very well, and then I think at the end of the day, Christian, what you said, our Achilles heel was the fact that we just could not put the ball in the back of the net, and that kept. That definitely was the only reason why America didn't make it because they made chances. They were the better team, and while Leon had maybe 2 good opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net, America had at least 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, let's talk the first opening minutes. I think you see America come into this game on Sunday knowing that they're against the ropes. They know that they have to come and go out, guns blazing, and they do so. They start creating chances, start pressing Leon, and really brought the game to them, which I think unsettled Leon, made them a little bit nervous, and didn't really let them settle and get into their game or into their rhythm for I would like to say at least the whole first half.
Yeah.
And America continued the high press, won corners, and actually led to the first goal, which was Bruno Valdez's specialty.
It was a dream start for us, if you guys want to put it that way. I always thought in the back of my head, if America was going to make this comeback possible, they needed a goal in the first 15 minutes, and we get one at the 6-minute mark. And I don't know, man. My mind was going through some things. I was like, oh my God, are we really about to do this? Like, is this going to happen? This is the perfect start. And even after the goal, something that me and you, Ivan, criticized this team a lot was, they let off the gas. And, obviously they couldn't. And I'm glad that they didn't. So you saw them, keep pressing, keep creating chances after the goal. And, that kind of gave us, signs of life.
It definitely did. Dylan, how did you see this game? At least this team, you were covering the first half for our live tweets. You saw in America with high intensity, and after that first goal, I mean, it looked like the comeback was on.
Yeah, it really did. The goal goes in, and I'm screaming. I'm just like we're gonna do this. Like, you just have your thought because I think that's like Christian said, that's one thing that we mentioned. Getting that early goal, and you got it. Like you said, we don't know about this specialty. Finds the back of the net. He grabs the ball, runs straight back to midfield to put the ball down. And let's keep going. No time for celebration. Seeing that, that's how you know this team meant business. And just that first half was just there's some things that could have been better, but at the end of the day, it's the kind of half that we needed.
It was the right half that we needed. It was the right momentum and the right way the team had to go about it. It's just, again, we couldn't score in open play. It took a set piece, yes, granted, but to get the first goal, but nothing actually came out of our open play setup. We had good ball movement. I think something that we still lacked in was that final third passing, but I still think that America did better this game than they did, I would say, all the rest of the season in regards to to our final third passing. It's just I felt that some of their shots were rushed. I think there was a time where Roger took a wild shot from half,
From way.
from like about 35 yards out. I don't know what he was trying to do. Guido, yes, he took his shots.
But at least his was on target though.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
precise with his.
he was a little bit more precise with everything.
Yeah.
And I think this was definitely a game in which I think Guido Rodriguez and Mateus Uribe needed to shoot the ball from far away. And another player that stood out was definitely Mateus Uribe, who had a much better game this half. Not this half, but this leg. And, really stepped up a little bit more. But I needed a little bit more from him in regards to the finishing department.
Yeah.
There was moments where I think he had a perfect opportunity to take a shot on goal, but decides to play it a little bit more wide. Why I think he's just he maybe doesn't have that much faith in himself to shoot that ball and get on target, or maybe he feels that he can't be greedy and he has to secure the pass. But I think there was moments and times where maybe players could have been a little bit more self-centered and taken the opportunity. With that said, though, I mean, is there anything that stood out to you in the first half that you thought, yeah, this isn't going to work?
I don't know. It's just, I think the whole final third passing, I think that's what really gets us. It was kind of like rinse and repeat from the first leg. You had Renato and Ibargüen, take on their defender. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Ibargüen taking on his defender and beating him consistently, but when it came to that final pass and then that final shot, it just didn't happen. And he lacks in that department very, very much. And I would have liked to seen him, maybe take a couple of shots here and there when he dribbled, when he cut in. Renato Ibarra, on the other hand, that's a player that disappointed me this game specifically. There were a lot of times where he found himself, one-on-one with the defender, but chose to pass it or cross it instead when we know he can take him on and beat him to give himself a better opportunity, but he just didn't do that. And I would have liked to see that, would have liked to see more from that, because I think he would have created a much more dangerous chance for us.
No, yeah, I think you're right. Ibargüen definitely showcased that he has the talent to be in this squad. That if you give him more of the ball, he can definitely produce more. Renato Ibarra, we know what he's capable of. There's a reason why America needed to sign him up. There was a reason why he was in the eyes of many MLS clubs, not just as just a foreign player, but as a DP player, which for those of you who follow the MLS know that that's big money for any player going to the MLS. And he definitely showcased it throughout some of the season, but in this game, I felt like, yeah, he needed a little bit more, I felt like sometimes, even when he tried taking on the player, he did a little things too predictable, kind of lost the ball in one-on-one opportunities. That's not to say that he didn't perform to a good standard. I think, like you said, we needed more from him. Especially when he had shots available.
Yeah, exactly.
There was moments in which he took shots, and one of them perfectly, literally just he shoots it straight at Cota's body. I would have hoped he went even near post or far post, but something. Don't make it so easy as to hit it straight to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and you see some of those mishaps from Renato in the second half, which I think even disappoints me more, because that's the half where I really thought he was going to shine and really bring it home for us, but it was just unfortunate that he didn't. But yeah, no, going back to the first half, just plays like that, could have given us a better chance.
Dylan, what's your take on all of this that we're discussing about?
Yeah, just kind of hitting on that more too. I kind of wanted to see more shots on target. We take 10 shots in the first half, only have 3 of those on target, and so it kind of ties back into what you're saying about Renato. He takes that shot, but it should go straight to Cota. It's on target, but it's not really forcing Cota to do any work. He's just standing there catching the ball, and just really putting that pressure not only on defense but Cota himself. Just having more shots on target would have been more nice in the first half.
And talking about shots and players that should be taking shots, I think our forwards definitely disappointed us. And I'm not just talking Nico, I'm talking Roger as well. I think both of them had a very, very subpar game. I'm pretty sure you could have taken those two two out and put in any other two players, and the result probably would have been the same, if not even better. I just felt that Nico, I feel like he had so much weight on his shoulders and so much pressure that I think he shrunk in the moment. And that's something you don't want to see from your multi-million forward. Roger, I think he played his game. But didn't necessarily shine when asked of him. I think he played it a little bit more safe, didn't expose himself so much. I think he did his thing, and he didn't go above and beyond in a game where we needed him to.
Yeah.
So I think those and something that even Piojo said himself, that there needs to be a discussion with our forwards, that this seems to be the case year in and year out, and I don't think we've had anyone sufficient ever since. Would you guys like it since maybe Raul Jimenez left?
Yeah, probably, or when maybe Oribe Peralta was in form.
Yeah,
that's probably the last time.
That's probably the last time, and it's really astonishing too. You have 4 forwards, and you really can't seem to find the light in one of them, and it's a little bit disappointing and concerning to say the least heading into next season. But that's a talk for later. But like you said, I'm looking at the stats right now. Nico Castillo has 0 shots on target, 0 shots off target. He has 2 block shots. Like that just can't happen in a game like this. We need you to be the one taking most of the shots.
Yeah, that was disappointing, to say the least. But I think overall it was a pretty decent game. It was actually a much better game by Jorge Sanchez today. Well, not today, Sunday. But I think he was definitely a little bit more motivated to prove that he's not as bad of a player as people make him out to be after this poor Liga he's had. I don't know. I just saw the team motivated. I saw the team in the right head with the right capacity to go and push forward and get it right. I think there was times in which maybe we were a bit too over aggressive. When Leon had the ball, I think we were a little bit too.
I didn't mind that though.
I did, because at one point I realized that Leon were just going to be smart about it and run the clock down, which they did.
True. Yeah, they did. But also you have to realize that, we could have let them score a goal. It wasn't going to affect us either way. We still needed our second goal. So, when we kind of were a little bit careless, a little bit, not too much, I really didn't mind it, to be honest, because then maybe that could have opened up some spaces, and almost did, and it led them to a red card for them. But,
yeah, it's definitely, for me at least, it was a bit concerning. That was just it,
I do agree though. In some moments, it got a little bit scary for us though.
Yeah, it did. Especially that opening. What was it when Macias
had
that header? And it just
and you
barely
thought,
wide.
This is not what America needs, right? When that header was creeping in, I was like, great. That's not what you need right now.
Yeah, but right after that we scored anyway, so it didn't matter, to be honest.
But then what did matter is the fact that we didn't score for the rest of the match.
Then that's where our elimination comes from. And
because it's one thing to say, okay, yes, America was the better team for 180 minutes, but what does that get you besides maybe self, I guess, realization that, okay, I at least played the best game possible. But even if you played the best game possible, you wasn't enough to get past this. Because at the end of the day, like I said on Thursday, and I'll say it again today, at the end of the day, you want to point fingers at someone, you want to blame someone. All you gotta do is look in the mirror, and it's yourself, And in America, you don't have any luxury whatsoever to have excuses, to have any kind of pretextos going forward. There's no if, buts, or maybes. It's you couldn't do it, then it's on you. It's your failure. You gotta live with it. And how are you gonna make up for it, right?
Somebody get that Spider-Man meme and put America's logo on both of them at the pointing at each other.
Exactly.
I think yeah, there you go.
That's exactly what it is right at this point, because you knew you had to have a good game. If America would have drawn on Thursday and came out and played this game the way they did, and we advanced, we're here and we're discussing a final. We're still talking about the same things. So America can't finish. America needs a little bit more productivity in the final third, and whatever, everything that we've been saying, right? But at least you're in that final. but you're not because you couldn't take care of business in the first leg. Whatever the case may be, yeah, you weren't at home, all the drama with venue changes and traveling and all that stuff. Yes, I get that. But that's outside the field, right? There's not much control you have on that part. You as a player, you as a professional, you have every control once you step on that pitch, right?
Correct.
You weren't able to take care of it. Leon was able to do it. They scored 1 goal. They held on for dear life in the second leg. And now, they advance. Granted, whether or not you like the way Liga MX works, I know a lot of people have been complaining about that, but that's the rules. And you knew it. That's been the rules for how long now? So it's nothing new to this. It's you knew coming into this how the situation was, what the scenarios were. And yet you still weren't able to do it. And I think that's a lot of blame and a lot of things that America players need to at least have some self-realization going forward.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah,
but
100% agree.
I mean, Dylan, how did you see the rest of the game here? Because I mean, it was just you knew you were playing against the clock at this point, and especially in the second half. You go into the first half, leading 1-0. Maybe you kind of took your foot off the gas pedal for within the last 5 minutes of the match. Still, that I think that was just so you can conserve some energy going forward. But I think once you get to the 60th minute of the mark, I think you start looking at the clock a little bit more, and you start feeling the seconds go by even faster. And really, at this point, it is a race against the clock.
Yeah, no, it really is. Especially if we look over the 180 minutes, one thing that I really started to see this team come together is one thing that I pointed out almost all season is, there's got to be 11 players on the pitch, and, almost all 11 players are playing on the pitch. And so that's what seemed to be working a lot too, is having this whole team come together and play, and, but, you didn't, like we've been saying, the job wasn't getting done. I kept, especially like you're saying at the 60-minute mark, all eyes were just on that clock at that moment for me, because I knew like it, where we're going, are we going to get to this point to where, we're scoring or not? And, it just never came. And, my heart just started beating more and more and more. But, it's just really no excuse, really.
Yeah. Definitely no excuse whatsoever. Christian, how did you feel about the substitutions? Because do any of you two know when the first substitution was made? I think it was in the 70th minute, right?
71st minute. Yeah, 71st.
Yeah, 71st minute. So what was your take on that? The first sub?
It was Jorge Sanchez out and Tony Lopez in.
Yes.
I understood it. I think Piojo just wanted a more offensive team, and at that point it was understandable because 20 minutes left, you're chasing a goal. We know what Don Lopez can do when played on the wing. So I mean, I didn't mind it too much. I thought it was an okay sub.
And then you take Roger out,
and that's where I had the problem, because I don't think Roger should have been the one coming out. I think it should have been Nico Castillo coming out.
You know what I would have loved to have seen?
Henry for Nico?
No.
Oh, go for it.
I would have liked to see all 4 forwards on the pitch.
Oof. How on earth would that have worked?
I don't know, but if it works, it would have worked. Because look, you at that point, I felt like Piojo needed to risk everything. Just put everything on all the chips on the table, because you have nothing to lose. You can get scored on, and you're fine, right? So I thought, okay, right. 75th minute of the match, put every attacking player that you have out on that pitch, and get as many balls forwards as possible, right? I at least would have thought that would have been something, but then again, that's just my Sunday league coach instinct in me. But
yeah, to be honest, we did put like a Sunday league team in the last 10 minutes of the game, which really pissed me off, like extremely pissed me off.
And you know what? You thought America would have been much smarter to progress after the Ruben Sambuesa red card, right?
Yes.
We don't. We still, but it's that's the difficult thing about it. And that's exactly what I said America was going to have to worry about, is you're playing against the clock. You're playing against a team in which they have all the advantage to make this clock wind down. That's why I said when you're being aggressive with those fouls, that you're just cutting away to the seconds. You're just cutting away. And that's a mental aspect of the game in which you're not gaining over them. They're gaining over you. Yeah. Right? And Dylan, you said it yourself as well. Mentality was important coming into this matchup. Mentality was going to be a key to define how this game was going to break down for America. And I felt for at least 70 minutes of the match, America had control of that. And then afterwards, when you see the clock work its way against you, that's when I think America players just start losing some of that strong mentality and maybe start going into panic mode.
Yeah, the panic mode is the last thing you need to. I mean, it's easy to say, but it's a hard thing to do, especially on the pitch. But at the end of the day, that strong mentality, I don't think we're necessarily there 100%.
And what's something we said all Liga long, the mentality game plays an effect, and unfortunately we just didn't have a strong enough mentality to close it out.
Yeah, we didn't, and that's definitely on us. Like I said, but like it goes back to the same thing. You want to point fingers, you got to point them at yourself.
No, 100%.
It's that simple as that. Again, you see America just kind of Sunday leaguing it, just kickball in the air, whatever you can. Would have been smart to maybe push a little bit forward with the ball, but I mean, I get it. Leon had closed itself down, all 11 players on their pitch. And like I said, it was another thing America was going to have to play against is Leon closing itself down just in the final minutes to try to get themselves through to the next round.
Right.
And it's very difficult at that point to break a team down if you don't have the right pieces on the pitch to do so. And I think at that point, when you took out Roger Martinez, you took out your most vital piece in breaking a defense down, because how well have we seen Roger go toe-to-toe with a defender, body his way through and create some space? That is when you needed him the most. We haven't really seen that from Nico. We know he can offer that. We know he can, but he hasn't really done so. And the only player that's proven to do that this season so far has been Roger. So the fact that he wasn't on the pitch makes you wonder as to what would have been different if he had stayed in the circumstances that America found itself.
Yeah, correct. But like, just going back to that, we needed to do that, though. We needed someone to step up and be like, okay, listen, guys, I'll be, I'm going to try to pick a pass here or, take a shot from here. But no, you have players like Renato Ibarra and, and whoever crossing the ball from the 40-yard line. Like, how on earth do you expect to get a header in when, like you just said it, Leon closed himself down, they have like 7 defenders in the box, and then you expect to get a header off of that? How on earth does that make sense? And, that goes back to the players, and that goes back to Piojo as well for giving the instructions to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, but I am very, very, very distracted by what's going on in the chat. Someone said there's a wild pursuit going on in LA on Channel 7, and we're going to progress with reviewing this game while I change the channel on here. But continue.
Wow. We see your priority.
Yeah.
Christian.
Wait, so Dylan, what is your take on us crossing the ball from the 40-yard line?
It was dumb. It was ridiculous the whole time. I think I yelled a couple of times. Why are we crossing it out? So why are we crossing it out from so far?
And like, sorry, continue.
No, and it was really, really starting to get ridiculous. I'm just all like, dang, like, are we really going back to this playing the long ball? Sometimes too. I mean, sometimes we play it back from Bruno and Aguilera, and I'm just like, why? I'm just like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
And in moments like that, like Ivan pointed out, how Leon had kind of like, put themselves in the defensive mode, and they kind of crowded the box a little bit. You had Renato Ibarra really now one-on-one with the defender, and now that was the time to take advantage and abuse him, like Ibargüen has been doing on his side. And, you could have gotten a little bit closer, maybe, probably got off a better pass or a shot or something. But no, you resorted to crossing the ball from the 35, 40-yard line, hoping that, Bruno Valdez or Nico Castillo got a header on it. And I don't know why you thought that was ever going to happen in a million years. And, we just sort of wasted the last 6-7 minutes of the match. And we could have done something more, to be honest.
That was that desperate panic situation mode that they got in.
And that was the mentality, the weak mentality that we had. We just couldn't close it.
I think at that point you're just trying to get the Hail Mary, right?
Yeah, but there was no need for that, at least not at that moment. You still had 10 minutes left in the game. A lot can happen in 10 minutes.
But it's again what you guys were just saying right now is that mentality in which I need to go, I need something to do work, I gotta go chuck this up, leave it to fate, leave it to chance, leave it to my attackers, right?
Correct.
Maybe
I felt that
maybe
a
in
lot of
stoppage
players.
time. Maybe in stoppage time, but not 10 minutes in the game. 10 minutes left in the game
And
still.
honestly, I put the biggest blame on Piojo for giving those orders because I doubt the players were the ones that took upon themselves to do that.
I think the players did because no one was like, all right, I'm
Right,
gonna have the cojones to get the ball and push forward. You know,
Okay, but
I felt like the
there's
mentality
still
of the
blame on
players just
Piojo.
goes down.
There's still blame on Piojo because why didn't
Exactly.
Piojo do anything?
Exactly.
Why didn't
He should
Piojo
have
say
said,
anything
"Guys,
to
stop
them? He
doing
didn't say
that."
nothing to them.
Exactly. He should have said, "Yo, boys, what are you guys doing? Can you like take the ball down, do a little bit more than just cross?" He didn't do anything. He seemed fine with us just crossing it in.
Yeah, I never said Piojo doesn't have any blame on this. I'm saying I would imagine the players do as well. You know,
No, but
you're a professional at this point. You need to know
it's
how to read a
both.
game. You need to know how to read a scenario. You know.
Correct. It's both.
And
but,
I'll tell you this much: America loses this game as soon as Guido Rodriguez gets that second yellow card.
Yeah,
because the one player that actually has a very calm, collected way of moving the ball around was expelled for your team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and funny enough, I was thinking when Guido gets that red card, it's like we've praised him so much for just calming himself down, for not getting a red card, for being so well controlled and centered, and he gets a red card in this game.
When was the last time Guido actually had a red card?
You'd probably have to go back to the Clausura of 20.
That should have been a good trivia question, but that's not tonight's trivia question, so we're not gonna ask that.
That would have been a good trivia question.
That would have been one, but I have a better one, I think, hopefully. But anyways, yeah, you know, Guido was that kind of quote unquote kind of leader, I guess, on the pitch, and maybe that could have been the guy to maybe pick a one crucial pass. Could have probably made a goal from there, but you know, it's just so what if now after that. So,
but I mean, it is what it is. America couldn't find its way. They kept checking balls in. There was a Hail Mary. We can sit here and argue all day about what the team could have done right, but at the end of the match, nothing was done right in those final crucial minutes. That, to be honest, if America couldn't figure this out, if America couldn't at least break this puzzle down, then did we merit to be in a final? I don't think so.
Probably not, no.
You know, but I mean, it is what it is. And look, and we're gonna talk about this in our end of the year review thing. But you look back at what America did for this whole 2018-2019 season, and only because it's America, it's gonna look like it was a failure. But any other team would have seen this season as a success. And I'm willing to argue that it's not as bad as we paint it out to be, but the reason why is because it's America and the expectations are there. And as a fan base and as a culture, we know and we understand that we demand of the highest and utmost standards of this team. And there's nothing wrong with actually demanding these things because it is what's been imposed for the past, 100 years? So, I mean, it's definitely. I'm not saying it's right that America failed in semifinals, but I'm not saying it should be the end of the world either. Right. But I think at the end of the day, still, there has to be some comfort knowing that the reason why you didn't go in was because of yourself and not the opposition. You didn't get played out. You didn't get out tactic. You didn't get outplayed. It was because of your own doing. Imagine if you had it right, this would have been a whole different script. But there's got to be some sense of okay, I didn't get knocked out because of the other team. I got knocked out because of myself. There's got to be some sense of, okay, I know that at least I'm not as bad as some people paint me out to be because it was on me. It wasn't on them. I didn't come short because of the other team. I came short on myself.
That's definitely where the comfort comes from, If Leon would have dominated us for the 180 minutes, there wouldn't have been probably a light to this season. But considering that, we were the ones to take it to Leon. We were the ones that outplayed this historic team, and we were better than them for 180 minutes. That does and should give this team some comfort going into the next season.
Yeah, definitely. Dylan, anything else you want to add?
No, not really much. I think what I got to say goes more into the season review. Whenever we talk about Apertura and Clausura together.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna jump onto that next. And but before that, of course, we're gonna talk trivia and everything. But I think just to wrap this up, America let us down, let themselves down. And we'll talk about the season as a whole. But it was nice to see the team come out and fight. I think that was the one thing that you take away from it. Unfortunately, we're here, and because of rules and because of the way things work, Leon are into the final, and that's just the way it is. And you pick yourself up and you rebuild, and you do better for next season.
Mm-hmm. That's how it always has to be honest.
Definitely. Christian, anything else to add on?
No, I think you hit it perfectly. They didn't beat us, we beat ourselves, and like you keep saying, Ivan, over and over again, we are the only ones to blame for ourselves.
Definitely. Alrighty, well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Leon review. America gets knocked out. Unfortunately, we're not going to be covering the final, but it was nice to see the boys at least try to get something out of it, even though at the end, maybe they could have done just a little bit more. Yeah. But that's soccer, that's football for you. That's Liga MX for you, to be honest. And we'll see what happens in the upcoming month or month and a half, because the league is going to start in just a little bit. So that's
sooner than usual, guys, and it's a whole new format as well. So we're going to be covering that as well later on.
Definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on into the other segment of the show, and that is trivia. So, Christian, I leave it to you. Take it away. Let these fine people know what their last question of the season is, and hit it.
Sure. So, I feel like we should have a theme song for trivia next season. What do you guys think? Something to open me up a little bit. I think that should be cool. But anyways, we will like Ivan said, this is the last trivia of the season. I just want to say on behalf of Ivan and Dylan, we are so thankful and grateful for you guys for playing trivia with us every single week. This is something we put a lot into, put a lot of thought into it. And before I announce the last question, we have picked the prize. The winner will get the new America jersey that will come out next season. So whoever wins, and that'll be announced at the next podcast. Whenever we have our next podcast, we'll tweet that out in the coming days or whenever. So yeah, the winner will be announced next podcast. The winner will get the new America jersey next season. We'll get in contact with you whenever that is available. And yes, that'll be it. So the last trivia question of the season that Ivan will put in the chat for us is: who scored the first goal for America in the 2019 Clausura season?
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. Who scored the first goal for America in the 2019 Clausura season?
Oh, that's easy. Those are Osman Mares. All right. So there you guys' question. For those of you listening on iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud, we urge you guys, if you guys can, make it out to one of these shows for next season. The more of you, the better. The chat is amazing. We love to try to keep up with as much as we can. Since as we get into our discussion, it's a little bit hard to kind of multitask in between. But we go back and we read, and we absolutely love the interaction. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Also, I want to say one more thing that I'm very proud of. Despite the kind of things that we've done, kind of only limiting trivia to the podcast only after the second half of the season, still showed a lot of promise and a lot of feedback. And I'm happy to say that this season's trivia had more participants than last season. So that's only positives from here up, and hopefully next season we even get more participants. So thank you guys, literally. It means a lot to us, and we hope you guys have as much fun as we do.
Dylan's having just as much fun as anyone else out here in the chat. Apparently offering steaks to everyone. So I don't know where he's getting the budget for this, but be nice to know. Be nice to know if we're invited.
Don't worry about that. Christian, you're invited. Ivan,
Thank you.
Okay, I can take a hint, Dylan. I can take a hint. But like Christian said, thank you so much to every single one of you guys who have participated in this. Even though me and Dylan are somehow always find ourselves in negative points, we always do love being a part of this. This is Christian's creation, and to see it come to fruition, even more so every single season, I think it really says a lot about you guys, actually, more than anything about us, but you guys as well. So thank you so much for being part of this and contributing and answering. Like I said, those of you who are listening on SoundCloud, iTunes, and or Spotify, make it out to one of these, because I think you guys would enjoy the trivia. You guys would enjoy the interaction with some of these people.
Yeah.
And if you can, of course, I know not always everyone has the time or the liberty to do so, but whenever you do, come on by. We're open to every single one of you guys to come out and join the chat. So with that said, there is a couple of things that we do need to address in regards to the upcoming season. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about this in the upcoming show. But the way things are, the board have given us at least a week, if not two, of vacation. So we will be out for at least a week, if not two, and then we'll start our L3 Copa, the Copa Oro edition of the Eagle Eye podcast. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be completely all about the Mexican national team, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. We have a couple of things that we need to announce within the upcoming episodes and everything like that. But we hope that you guys stay tuned for everything, because it is going to be a great upcoming season and an upcoming summer for us too, because not only will we have the Mexican national team, but we'll have plenty of America to talk about too in between all of that. So stay tuned for that as well. Keep in touch with us via Twitter or Instagram, and just stay tuned. And like I said, have that notification bell ready to go, because you never know when the Eagle Eye podcast may just come out of the blue like we did last Thursday. But I won't carry this message any further, as we will talk to it a little bit later. And we'll move on into the next segment, which is the yearly review of America. How did they do? Well, we're going to tell you exactly how we feel like, whether or not the season was a success, a failure, and everything in between, because I know these gentlemen have a couple of things to say in regards to everything that America did or did not do for the 2018-2019 season. So, gentlemen, in one sentence, give me your overall kind of review of the season. I'll let any of you guys try to answer that first.
It was a roller coaster.
That's a good one. I don't know. That's I guess I'm content. I'm content. We'll leave it at that. You know that emoji with, like, the face is just like a line, like a horizontal line, just for a mouth. That's it. That's my mood for the season.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say that I'm content with the season.
I just said that.
I know, but you said with like the line. I would say
it's a happy face.
Yeah, in a sense, a bit happier with my team.
Oh, interesting.
Look.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, see, it's a Chicken Little, dude.
In a full year, America was able to win a league title and a cup title, qualify to both Liguillas, make it at least to one final and to one semifinal.
And qualify for Conca Champions.
And qualify for Conca Champions.
I thought we were just talking about Clausura.
No. I'm talking
about overall.
Overall? Yeah. Okay, so can you see my question then? My answer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, now it's a little happy face. It's the little one, though. You know, like the little thin one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's me. I'm the little thin one. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah. You know what? I think OMG, it's AV, gets it right. Fulfilled, but not truly satisfied. I think that gets it perfectly. Fulfilled, but not truly satisfied. Because, yes, this America team could have been much better for both Apertura and Clausura. Simple as that. They could have been much better for both, right? Maybe even much better for the Clausura, because I would argue that maybe, both teams were pretty good, but this one I think had a little bit more firepower to it than last season's. I think last season had a little bit more creativity
and more
in
depth.
regards to this. Yeah, and depth. It's something
And
that
depth.
we talked about in the clausura. But overall, and because I asked this question because I'm bringing up another one that is being highly, highly asked is, should Piojo's job be on the line? Simple yes or no. Dylan?
I don't think so.
No? Christian?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. Which is what baffles me the most at this point is some people are actually talking about Piojo leaving the club. When you think about it, in a year's span, he's offered and delivered a league title,
Yes.
a cup, at least a semifinal run in this last one, the qualification into the CONCACAF Champions. I think America sits in a good position because of what Piojo has done. Yes, we've criticized him a lot for a lot of things, and there's still things that he needs to work on before he truly can become a better manager. But I don't know. I think Piojo should stay. I think he's merited to stay too, and I think that's the most important key here.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. He is merited to stay, correct, but who's to say that maybe he wants to take a jump to Europe? You know, he's always talking about wanting to go to Europe and the coming
and there has
years.
been rumors,
and there has been rumors already surfacing now that he might leave. And honestly, if he leaves, I don't think it's because we fired him or because the board wasn't content with the season. I think he leaves on his own terms. He says, you know what, guys. I think I've done enough here. Whatever you guys have to say about me, it's fine. But I'm gonna go try my luck in Europe. And honestly, if he leaves and if he wants to do that, that's fine by me, to be honest.
And these rumors have been bubbling for quite some time because when I went to go cover the game at Tijuana, in the press conference, one of the questions he was asked was, what of Europe? What of all these clubs asking about you in Europe? And he kind of answered it a little bit vague, saying, well, hopefully one day, if the opportunity is there, I would love to. But in the meantime, I'm focused and dedicated with America, and I'm happy at America, which I think he truly is. He loves Mexico City. He loves living there, and he loves America. And I think he has a lot of liberty in how he gets to work, So I think he's very content to stay. And the only way he does leave is, I think all of us thought, A, the Mexican national team job, but that's not being opened up anytime soon. Or B, Europe, which maybe could be a little bit more of a true possibility because you're starting a new season, you're starting a new, a new year in the soccer world. So I could see a couple of teams maybe potentially coming for Piojo, but who's to say that he takes the leap, and who's to say he doesn't stay in America?
A part of me wants him to be happy and go to Europe because that's his dream. That's what he wants to do. But just this part of me as well. I don't think he's content with what just happened. I think he knows that America should have been in the final. I think he knows this America team has 10 times more to give on the field than what we showed, and I think he wants to stay another year and demonstrate to the world that this is America's 10 times better than what we did, and we're gonna prove it.
Because let's be honest, like this Clausura, we were hella championship hungover.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
We
managed to get this team into the semi.
At times, we even questioned ourselves if we weren't gonna be in Liga,
Yeah, because there was even there were at times too where like we were in that top 8, and all of a sudden we were out of that top 8.
Yeah, and it was like I think you said it right, Dylan. It was a roller coaster this season.
Yeah,
definitely
it really
a roller
was.
coaster of emotion and in the table.
Yeah.
But if you look back at this, and I know this is so difficult to do because the scar is still so fresh, the wound's still so fresh. But if you're trying to be objective about it, and if you're trying to truly put aside the Americanismo and you try to really focus on what America did, anywhere else, it's a success. What America was able to accomplish is definitely a success, And I think, look, if I wouldn't want Piojo to leave just yet. I would like to see Piojo at least win the CONCACAF Champions with us, and then he could depart if the right offer for him at Europe is there. But
right,
he said it before. He wants to be here. He wants to stay. He wants to win countless and countless of trophies. You know, he wants to go down in record as one of the best, if not the best Mexican manager of all time. And he's so close to getting there. He's really so close to getting there if he can continue to win with America and continue to do what he's been doing.
I was talking to to someone earlier, a friend of mine, and he's not an America fan, by the way, but he likes Piojo, and he likes his work ethic. And then he was telling me, and in my humble opinion, do you think Piojo can be what Sir Alex Ferguson was to Manchester United? Despite all the
I wanted him to be our Fergie.
Despite all the ups and downs that you guys might have, but you're still going to stick through him because you trust his philosophy, you trust his work ethic, you trust that he'll get you there eventually. Can you see Piojo being this commander to stay for 4, 5, 6 years in the future?
I can. And I've said it before. I want him to be our Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it time and time again.
And in previous squad, because this is truly the first year where this is his team.
Someone said he's our Wenger.
This is his team. He built this team to his specifications. Bar maybe 1 or 2 players, but that's that's out of his control. But for 95%, this is his team, and we see what he can do when he gets the right players. When the board has his back. When they applaud his decisions. This is what the results that you're gonna get. And honestly, like you said, this season has been fulfilled, but there's definitely more that we can add on.
There's more that we can add on. And look, you want to go straight back to that same analogy? Ferguson didn't get it right away.
Oh no,
he was on the edge of being fired at United before he caught fire. But I think Piojo can definitely look. I think if America sticks with Piojo, you're gonna get the best out of him, and you're gonna benefit from that fruition because he's only gonna grow as a manager, and if you keep backing him up with the players that he wants, and if you can continue to to mold this team in the image that he wants, then you're only gonna get the best team possible plus the best manager possible. It's a win-win situation in which America can continue to benefit from this,
right.
to 3, 4, 6, 8 years down the road.
Now we're praising him, but obviously there's a lot he can work on, though. And
yes, and that's what I'm talking about.
And it's kind of like a perfect relationship because as he's growing, the team's growing as well.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to make point of. And to go back to this, and it's not because I'm a Man U fan as well, but it's to go back to the Ferguson, kind of representation that you had brought up. It's Ferguson didn't have it right away. He wasn't this master coach. He didn't have the substitutions down, the tactical all down right away. It was you grew and you grow and you have successful seasons and you continue to grow on that. Ferguson was seen as this great manager after winning the treble, but he wasn't deemed this amazing manager until maybe in the 2000s when he started winning back-to-back Premier League. He had that one year, that very one successful year in which he won the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the league title. But it wasn't until later on in the early 2000s and forward in which he established himself as this very dominant manager in world football. And Piojo can do the same in Mexico, and I'm not saying it's going to be next year, 2 years from now, but who knows, down the line, 3 to 4 years, back-to-back America titles, he could easily be on the horizon. If you said you stick with him and you see the team grow alongside with the manager.
Correct, yeah.
Dylan?
You took the words out of everybody's mouth.
And it's interesting to see if America and America's board especially has the same philosophy that we do, or the same mindset at least. Do we want to keep you here for 4 or 5 years, or are we going to let him spread his wings?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like if we let him go, I kind of find it difficult because who else is out there right now? I can't really think of nobody.
Well, and I think that's something that even Carlos said right now in the chat. It's like there's
right
not
now,
really a big name that can come in and fill in those shoes right away. I think you start back at from scratch, and I think what a lot of people don't realize about Piojo is this seed was planted not when Piojo was brought back when he was in Cholos. It was since Ricardo Peláez first hired him in the, what was it, 2012? 2012 season?
2012, yeah, because we made it to semi, we lost. Yeah, I think 2012.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Just 13, we
So
won the title.
that's when Piojo's roots with America started, and it was on pause for a couple of years. But when he came in, he already knew the club, he knew the institution, he knew what was going to be asked of him, and it's been growing. And you've seen the fruition. You got to tell me this Piojo and this team isn't better than what we had at the beginning with Piojo? I think that Piojo is not. If that Piojo goes toe to toe with this Piojo, I think this Piojo right now wins.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I had to think.
And obviously, well, I think that's kind of an obvious answer because of all the experiences he's gone through. You know, between his last stint with America and his stint now with America. You know, he went through a couple phases. You know, he went to the Mexican national team. You know, and he had a year off because of suspension or whatnot, or because after what he did. But you know, he's had time to reflect, and you know, maybe that made him a better manager too. Like Carlos said, he's more mature now.
Definitely is. Definitely is. But that's the Piojo talk, and I just wanted to give like a brief recap of it because I've seen a lot of people calling for his head, and I think it was just it's just at the heat of the moment. It really is, and I understand that. I can't sit here and criticize anyone for wanting Piojo out at the time being, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, maybe we let that settle in and realize that we have something good going here.
Yeah,
we really do, right?
But now though, let's raise the question, okay? Let's say we have the same season next season, the same year, okay? We'll win the title in December. We'll lose in semis in May for next season, for next year. You know, we see no really improvements on Piojo. You know, he's still, you know, very rarely self-criticizes. His subs are off. His tactics aren't, you know, really up to par. We're still playing the same kind of little boring game style, going through the wings, cross-setting, whatever. Now, do you still? We're talking 2020, right? We're talking 2020 now. Do we keep Piojo for another year?
Yes, he just delivered you another title. He gave you 14, which most likely means you're now two away from your rival who was equal to you. He merits to stay. Look, I'm telling you, as long as he continues to win you at least one title with one league title. I'm not saying just one title.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he wins the Copa MX and that's more than enough to keep him there. If he wins one league title,
he's staying.
He's staying. He's continuing to prove his worth at that point.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's difficult to have a consistency in such an inconsistent tournament base like Liga MX. You know.
But thankfully for us, as an institution, we kind of find that consistency because, you know, this decade we've won a few league titles.
Yeah, a few league titles, a few international cups. You know, something definitely to be proud of.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have to wait and see. So that's the Piojo talk. But now I want to see what you guys take as a team as a whole. I'm content. I think we could have done better, but I mean,
oh yes, way better. We could have.
You know.
I'm
talking Apertura as well.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean,
here we go.
I think Apertura, like, you kind of did have your ups and downs with the team, but I think the team clicked way more Apertura than Clausura. I mean, let's be honest, because I mean, like I said it too, we were in such a hangover, championship hangover, and look at the fact no. I mean, yeah. I get it.
That plays a big part too.
I mean,
and injuries.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's no doubt, but still, I mean, you know, the names that we got, you know, especially Uribe struggling so much. Still, I mean, on paper, it says a whole lot, but whenever you see them play, you don't get what you see on paper, which is the frustrating part too.
No, and I get you, Dylan, because now I'm going to contradict myself. Is most of the core was still in good health, and most of the core was still there, even after the transfer window, right? So yes, you're right. You needed this team to be better, right? There's a lot of drop points in the Clausura, right? a lot of chances missed because of that, and this game could have easily been different.
Yeah.
You know, we could have not played a Leon. We could have been seeing them in the final. You know, it's something that we can't kind of, you know, ignore, but we can also look at and say, yeah, there was these variables, but it's understandable as to why the criticism is. But
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like and kind of like you're saying too. You know, going into the Clausura, you know, we didn't lose nobody. We gained what, 2 players? Am I wrong? It was Nico. It was both Nicos. That's it, or am I missing somebody?
Just Benedetti and Castillo. That's the only people we gained.
Yeah, and so I mean, like, you added them, and then you see what Benedetti's going to do to this team, and then he goes down. Nico, I don't know what the hell to say about Nico at this point. And then I don't know. It's just that hangover was just there, and then, you know, I think the same goes for Piojo too with this team a little bit, and then we just kept going on that broken record through the season. Like, it kind of seems like, you know, we have a down game. You know, we barely scrape by with 3 points. Next game, I don't know. If you look at the Monterrey game, I think the Monterrey game we should have won, but we ended up losing that one. And we were criticizing the team, and then, you know, you see the team kind of just take it up a notch from that game, playing a little bit better, and I don't know, they win, and then it was just really roller coaster with this team. It really was. There was just no consistency with this team like there should have been, because we know what this team's capable of. It's just it never reached it.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially Clausura wise.
Yeah, definitely. I think we fit on the head.
Yeah, it just goes back to the squad, honestly. You know, I think, Ivan, you touched it perfectly, the injuries. I think the injuries were a huge factor in this Clausura season. You know, maybe a couple players don't go down. Nico Benedetti being a key one. You know, maybe he doesn't go down in the Copa Mexi's final. You know, we probably could have seen a different America attack. You know, we always criticize this attack for not creating, you know, for not being consistent. Maybe that was a player to give you that creativity and consistency.
But now we're here and we're reviewing it and we're saying what ifs. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and America should still done better with the talent at their disposal. But again, I mean, that's football for you. It really is. It really truly is. But I think if we had to give America a grade this season, what would you guys give it?
Clausura?
Clausura?
No. This 2018-2019 season as a whole, I'm putting all of this together. You know, as a football year, what would you give America grade wise? And try to be as objective as possible and taking away the Americanismo out of it, taking all that out, just being as objective as you can be. What would you give this America team grade wise?
Either B plus or A minus.
I was gonna say a solid B.
I was gonna say a solid B too.
I'll go B plus.
I could see the arguments for a B plus.
I can see B plus.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that we got the league title and we got the so well, you know, Copa Mexi's that we haven't been able to win. I think, you know, that's where the plus comes.
Yeah, I think B to B plus. You know, depends on whether or not America is willing to do a little bit of the extra credit. But
I wonder if anybody gave it a Z grade. Z. Just put a Z on it.
Sometimes they had us on Z, to be honest.
That is true. Sometimes they did have it.
But I think America as a whole, a B to B plus. Now, switching over to the ladies' side of things, who they also won a league title, got knocked out of the semifinals. They don't have a Copa MX, but I mean, I think it's I think they gave a little bit more than what the men did, right? In regards to how they played, they lost a couple of big players themselves, and you know, I still saw a little bit more fight from them in the last couple of games. I think the ladies, maybe if I'm being as objective as I can, I think they merit a B plus, at maybe even an A minus.
I think they merit a B.
Really, Dylan?
Yes.
I could see B or B plus too, to be honest.
I would say B only because I felt like a couple of games, you know, they just weren't America. You know, they weren't up to par. the way they were getting outplayed, it looked a little bit bad on them, especially in the semifinal against Tigres. They showed no heart. Let's be honest. They got thrashed in the first game. They got thrashed in the second game. There was no fight, no heart in that.
Especially the start to the Clausura. They were just they started over with their hangover too, but eventually
they picked it up.
Right.
But then they give us that semifinal performance, and that doesn't merit an A- at all.
Okay, understandable. And something we talked about Piojo in regards to coach. I think maybe America needs to see whether or not this coach for the ladies is the right one going forward for a further future. I'm not talking in the near future. I still think this.
I think Cuellar.
Right?
I think a lot of people who especially follow it. I guess you could say closer than us because obviously we're not be able to watch it more or anything. But a lot of people are saying that Cuellar is like bad juju in the locker room for the girls. And he's like a thorn in the side, and he's just toxic. And I think that's one reason why Diaz left too, is because of Cuellar.
And interesting you say that now, because now with the new rules that you're allowed to have, dual nationality, being from Mexico and the United States, some of these interesting players like Katie Johnson that plays in the U.S., attractive players like that, they hear stuff about a coach like that, that's not going to make them want to come to America.
Yeah.
So, that might have something to do, and maybe the board's looking at him and like, listen, hey, you got us a league title, but, you kind of crashed out this form in the semifinal. That's not America. That's not how we do things.
Can you guys imagine in a world where this would be like a perfect movie for Mexico to make? It's like Big Mama, but like Piojo version, where he dresses up as a girl and coaches
the girl,
coaches the ladies team on the side.
Imagine. But yeah, so maybe those factors tying in, maybe that merits a new coach.
Maybe, and there's something that we'll definitely talk about in the upcoming season for the ladies as well. We're going to try to be as much more involved as possible.
And Ceci left too.
And Ceci has left, but because of her venture into Europe, which correct me if I'm wrong, but is she the first Mexican goalkeeper?
She could be.
I would
have to look it up, but she could be one. She could be the first one or one of the first.
So you're telling me America has sent out possibly the first ever 2 Mexican goalkeepers to Europe?
There you go.
Interesting enough. Definitely interesting enough. But that's kind of the ladies' talk. Ladies, we love you. Keep doing what you're doing. If it is a Cuellar situation, then maybe we do need to see whether or not we need to get a new coach. But I'd like to give him at least half a season to prove his worth, and if he can't make it, then he can't make it, and it's time to look somewhere else, because I think in such a young project like this, you need something kind of grounded for the future.
So long term.
And if he's not going to be that, then I think you need to look elsewhere where maybe you do get Big Mama Piojo to coach on the side.
Yeah, no, completely agree.
But okay, that is the ladies' talk. The ladies get a B. America both get a B.
So America as a whole gets a B then.
Yeah, as an institution, yeah, sure, why not a B? I think they handle some of the things right. I think they handle some of the things maybe not so well, but in the end, a B is a good solid grade for America this season.
B is a B. There you go.
Alrighty. Well, gentlemen, anything else you guys want to add on in regards to America's season?
No.
No?
I think.
Dylan?
No.
I do want to say one thing. These jerseys that we're bringing out, they need to go, man. This is probably one of the worst jerseys.
That's not America. That's Nike department.
This is probably one of the worst America jerseys I've seen in a long time. Thank God the season's over. We need new ones.
I think that's more of on America's, not on their Nike contract, and
it's on America.
Dude, Nike's splashing the cash. Really?
Still America.
No, I think.
What's that badge?
Has the logo on it.
Yeah, exactly. What's that badge on your heart right now?
Yeah, it's an America one.
Exactly.
Thank you. See, this is why I like Dylan. Dylan understands me. He gets me.
I don't know. I think we got to point fingers at Nike.
Yeah, both of them. I bet it could have been like, yo, dude, do something better.
I don't know. I mean, either way, they know they're gonna sell. They know we're gonna buy them.
That is true.
So I mean, it's like,
Yo, I've seen pictures of guys on Twitter posting their whole like collections, and like they have rooms dedicated to how many jerseys they have. It's honestly insane.
someone put bring back the mocha green jerseys.
Oh, ew.
Oh man. Alrighty, well, gentlemen, let's move on into our final segment of the show, so these people can go. Huh?
I'm waiting for the segment. I'm hoping it's the segment I want to talk about.
All right. Well, I mean, it's what segment is that?
No, wait, no, I don't want to say it. Then be disappointed. So just tell me.
All right, it's the final segment in which we talk and recap the season of the Eagle Eye podcast.
Oh yes, that was exactly what I was going for.
I was like, I don't know what other segment this is.
I know we're real.
I was like, I hope I get it on the head. Look, gentlemen, I think it's fair to say that this season as a whole has been quite successful. Dylan, I think you and me can both agree that we had no idea we would be in the situation that we are today. We had covered a final, we had covered games, we had expanded and grown the team. We have grown in numbers on Twitter. I mean, it's ridiculous, but in the best manner possible. So thank you to every single one of you guys. We're gonna recap the year. And I want to start off with you, Christian, because you joined the Eagle Eye podcast this year.
Yes, I did. The 2018-19 season was my first full year on the Eagle Eye podcast. I hope I didn't disappoint.
Definitely not. I think.
You should hear Ivan behind the scenes where you're not here, but Christian, you did a fabulous job.
Thank you. Thank you,
welcome.
Dylan.
You're welcome.
No, I think Dylan. I mean, if we're giving out grades, I think Christian deserved an A+ out of all of us here.
Yeah, I think Christian gets an A+. I get a solid A, and I think Ivan gets an F.
I know what that's acceptable because I think it's right.
Wait! I was just kidding. Wait.
No, I think. I think adding you, Christian, was I think exactly what the podcast needed. You brought in new energy, you brought in new ideas, you brought in a lot of things that me and Dylan maybe wouldn't have thought of maybe a year from now to start doing so. And you gave initiative and you gave that incentive, and you really did care about this podcast from the get-go. You came in as a host, as a guest. And someone that we saw right away that fit in perfectly, that we thought could be a great, host. So thank you for coming in and doing such a wonderful job. And I think a lot of people are looking at you as someone who definitely changed the podcast game for us in a very good way,
right.
A very good way. A lot of people do enjoy what you've brought to the table, to Twitter, to, our graphics, everything. Really, thank you so much, dude. You really have made it even that much better for us. And then I think you're one of the main reasons why we've grown so much as well.
Well, first of all, thank you for all those kind words. Tearing up a little bit here, not gonna lie. But honestly, I had to say thank you to both of you guys. Obviously, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the green light from both of you. But like I said this story a million times to the podcast, a million times to you guys. The first time I saw this whole podcast thing, I was like, wow, I have to be a part of it somehow, some way. I really didn't think I was gonna be, an actual protagonist being on the show every week. So I'm grateful for every single week I get to be on. But I always try to do my best to make us the front runners in this community. And I just love being here every single week. So thank you guys.
No, thank you. If you're the protagonist, Dylan, would you say you're the antagonist?
Why am I the antagonist?
If anything, I think Ivan should be the antagonist.
For real.
The antagonist host? I mean, I guess I can roll with it.
It's like it has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
I think it does. It flows off perfectly.
All right.
So now that Christian, we got in your words, and I think very well so merited. Dylan, I think it's time we take time to give appreciation to I think the people that actually have pushed all of this forward, and I think it's the fans, it's the listeners. Who is to say that we would be in the situation that we are, to be here week in and week out, and to have regulars?
For real, dude.
It's
Regular.
crazy to
That's
say that
honest.
we have regulars, and I'm not even talking about the regulars that are on here week in and week out on YouTube. I'm talking about regulars who every Tuesday or every Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they get the notification that the podcast is up, they listen to it. You know, there's people out there right now listening to this: iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. Thank you for being that regular. Thank you for coming in and week out and listening to our shenanigans and our sometimes not so credible opinions. But you know, there's a reason why. There's a reason why we're here, and it's because of all of you who have listened, who have participated, who are on here every time we're live, who interact with us on Twitter, who are listening to us right now on the go. It's every single one of you who have contributed so much to push us to this point that we are now 900 followers in. At the beginning of this season, we were at what, 300? 300. We were in the
This
2018,
season?
2019, 2018,
Oh.
2019. So at the beginning of this football year, we were at around 300. Almost 300.
I think you're making things up.
No, because I remember at 300 was when Christian was here and we did the whole jersey giveaway.
Hey guys, I'm Christian.
So we were at almost 300 when the season started. The season has now ended for us.
That's insane to think about.
And we're at 900.
That's 600 followers.
That is amazing. And it's all thanks to every single one of you listening.
I've slept since then. I don't know.
And listening, sharing, following us on Twitter, all that. It's a big thanks to you guys. Dylan, any words for these fine people listening to us?
No, really. It's been a fun ride. It's been a really, really fun ride. And I hope you keep enjoying what we got to bring next season coming up too. Hopefully be another roller coaster of a season so we can all share our hot takes, because I know sometimes our takes can be bad. No, but especially Ivan's Ivan with the bad takes, and mine and Christian with the accurate takes. There we go. That's more like it.
That's definitely more like it. The both protagonists and the one antagonist here.
There you go.
But this antagonist does have to say that he is very, very thankful for what you guys have been able to give to us, and we have been trying to do our best to give back to you guys. Which is why when we do reach that inevitable 1,000 followers, we'll make sure to be the biggest giveaway possible to be able to give back to you guys, because I think every single one of you deserve it. Moving forward, before I go to the moving forward thing, I also do want to say thank you to every single one of you who have made it possible for us to be able to go cover live games, for us to be part of that scene, to be able to bring you guys behind the scene footages, to be able to bring you guys up and personal pictures of fans, of players at the stadiums. It really is a dream to come true to be able to work for you guys, to be able to provide for you guys this coverage in English that is so demanded and wanted. You guys really have made this community a family at the end of the day. So thank you so much to every single one of you. It means the world to me, to Christian, to Dylan. It really does bring a smile to our faces, and it really does sometimes get us out of the bed in the morning to get the day going. So thank you so much to every single one of you guys. It really, really does mean a lot to us. And moving forward, we do have a lot of things in mind. We do have a lot of things that we have to think about, not just graphic wise and how the show maybe be running and all this stuff. But if it's one thing we do want to share with you guys, we do want to have even more interaction with you guys, even more than we have some right now. There's, we're thinking about maybe having, more of you guys maybe appear on the show, maybe opening up a phone line in which you guys can leave voicemails. There's still a lot of things that we have planned and discussing, but we do want to have you guys be more central not just here on the podcast, but on Twitter. Have more interaction with you guys. Have something where we can all collaborate together as a community. Watch parties and such. And we're really trying to do our best to give back to you guys and really bring the community in as a whole. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for next season, because it should be a great one, and hopefully all things go well and kicks off on summer, and then we have a good summer to kick things all with with good merits and good things to talk about. So, gentlemen, I leave this rest of the podcast up to you guys to say anything in regards to the upcoming year, or anything you guys want to talk about in regards to the podcast and to these fine people before we close out the show.
Dylan, you can start if you want.
No, Christian, you go.
All right, I'll start then. In terms of the podcast, I think Ivan sums it up perfectly when he says, just be on the lookout, because I really do think that all three of us are very bright and we're very smart, and we want to bring you guys the best content we can, and just look out, please. I think next season should be probably our best season yet, and I can't wait to share everything that we have in store for you guys. I do want to give a shout out though to Ivan. I know someone said in the chat earlier, but I'll just say it live here now. Whenever there's a friendly game out near him, 2 hours away, 3 hours away, he makes it his job. He puts everything aside and goes to that game. Whether it could be a meaningless friendly, but he goes and he tries to improve our content and give you guys all the best coverage ever. So you guys need to go give this guy some love, because he drives and drives and drives for hours to make these little simple games all for you guys. So really appreciate him, and just thank him for all the hard work he has ever done. And admire him, because that it takes a lot of determination and hard work to be able to do what he does. So thank you, Ivan, for that. And just next season should be a great one, and I hope you guys are here to stick around and then come with us for the ride.
Thank you so much, Christian. Thank you. I mean, the drive's made it a little bit easier when you have the Eagle Eye podcast to listen to.
Oh yeah, of course. I think we've gotten a couple of those, to be honest.
Dylan?
No, just thanks. I still remember the first episode, me and Ivan did this. We talked for like 5 minutes before we actually really started talking about anything. America wise, we were just in there talking live on YouTube. And no, I mean, the way it took off where we are right now, and I never imagined it. And it's just thanks to y'all guys. And so just thanks for everything. Just we'll see whenever it comes up and do it, because it's gonna be a good one.
Coming soon.
Definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've kept you here long enough. Some of you have to go mimis, and some of you just don't have to go to sleep at all. But I'm pretty sure you guys are getting tired of us. We have so much more in store for you guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned in regards to all of this. Like I said, Twitter, Instagram is the best way to keep and hold and track of what we're doing. And make sure you guys follow us on those platforms at Eagle Eye Podcast, and should be a really, really fun time with you guys. So again, thank you so much. To the trivia winner, we will let you know next podcast, and we will announce the next podcast within the upcoming week, whether or not it will be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. Okay, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. As always, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Hey, America got knocked out, but unfortunately, that's the way life goes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And
can't win them all.
Can't win them all, but we definitely won in the right moments at the right time, and we will forever be grateful to share all of those great moments with you guys, and hopefully many more to come. Gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for joining me. Christian, Dylan, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure on Tuesdays.
Favorite time of the week, especially after you're done with finals.
Yeah.
Woo!
Definitely finals, both for America and for
US. Yeah, well, don't gotta add that first part, but whatever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful night. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like I said, just keeping track of all of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Until next time, and as always, Arriba la America.